Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. In your opinion, the battle between Bor vs Uranos is a confrontation between two ancient and powerful entities of the universe. Who do you think will win? Bor is the father of Odin, the ancestor of the Asgardians, an ancient warrior born from the primordial energy of the universe. Bor's power far surpasses most modern Asgardians. He possesses terrifying physical strength, the ability to manipulate magic at a godly level, and once fought on par with Thor, and even surpassed him when Thor did not have the Odinforce. Bor was also described as an entity that could affect reality, causing Thor to lose his way in space and time with only ancient magic. Uranos is a nearly immortal, eternal race created by the Celestials. However, Uranos is not famous for his noble qualities, but for his brutality and extremism. He is the one who launched the war against the other Eternals, possessing the power of terrible cosmic energy, advanced technology beyond the era, and a mind that is almost emotionless. Uranos is even imprisoned forever in the Exclusion, a prison reserved for the most dangerous Eternals. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button. Please remember to turn on notifications and click the bell icon. Thank you very much. Bor is the father of Odin and the grandfather of Thor, two of the most powerful figures in Asgard. He is the first lord to rule Asgard and is also one of the Asgardian gods who gave birth to this mighty civilization. Under Bor's leadership, the rituals and value systems that characterize Asgard were shaped and are still maintained to modern times. Up as a nice way to wrap up this episode. Not only a great leader, Bor is also considered one of the entities that contributed to the creation of the universe, according to ancient myths passed down in the Asgardian records. In terms of power, Bor is ranked among the most transcendent beings in the universe, far beyond the normal limits of even the gods. Many documents record that Bor possesses outstanding physical strength, not only comparable to, but also surpassing Odin in his prime. All of his physical attributes, from strength, speed, endurance, to healing ability, are amplified to astronomical levels. Bor also has the ability to freely manipulate natural elements. He can summon hurricanes, control lightning, and release energy beams from his eyes with extremely dangerous destructive power, enough to harm Thor, who is considered the greatest god of thunder. In a fierce battle with Thor and the Dark Avengers, Bor demonstrated such power that just a thought was enough to create natural disasters capable of wiping out the entire planet. Thor, a legendary warrior, was almost killed by him, clearly showing that Bor's destructive power was beyond anyone's imagination. Bor, the supreme god with his mystical and magical powers, was able to control the magic surrounding Mjolnir, the magical hammer enchanted by Odin, so that only those worthy could use it. Bor could overcome this enchantment and was also a master of the ancient magic arts of Asgard. Bor could release electromagnetic energy from his hands, enough to seriously damage a Valkyrie, the most elite and resilient warriors of Asgard. Not only does Bor attack, he also has the ability to curse others, a powerful ancient magic that can weaken, distort, or manipulate the will of a target. Although some sources claim that Bor is slightly weaker than Thor when he possesses the Odinforce, it should be clarified that the Odinforce Thor is a combination of the Odinforce energy and Odin's indomitable warrior spirit passed down to Thor after Odin's death. Therefore, Thor in this state is not simply a successor to his father's power, but a fusion of all his father's legacy and power. From this, it can be inferred that Bor, in his prime, is stronger than Odin, but weaker than a specially upgraded version of Thor. It should be emphasized that the Odinforce is not only Odin's own power, but also a fusion of the energy of his two brothers Vili and Ve, two powerful beings who sacrificed themselves to transfer all of their power to Odin. The fact that Bor possesses magical abilities equal to or surpassing this form of power proves that he is an ancient being with the most mystical knowledge and power. The combination of physical strength, ancient magic, and the ability to manipulate reality makes Bor one of the most formidable gods in history. With the power that only Bor possesses, Thor would have been killed with the first blow in battle if it were not for the Odinforce in his body. Bor can also control elements such as wind and lightning and shoot powerful energy bolts from his eyes. The ancient god Bor once claimed that his power was enough to destroy the entire Earth. This is not an arrogant statement, but a fact proven by his actions and actual influence in the wars. It can be completely comparable to other powerful divine entities in the universe. His endurance is enough to face attacks at the cosmic level without being affected. In a classic battle, Thor once had to endure an attack from a Beyonder entity, a being with power at the multiverse level, capable of destroying the entire celestial race with a single action. However, when confronting Bor, Thor was still forced to encounter in a battle of equal strength. During the fight, Thor admitted that one attack from Bor was powerful enough to kill him without the protection of the Odinforce. The level of Bor's power became more evident when Thor, despite being one of the most powerful gods, was forced to call for help from the entire Avengers team to be able to confront him. Bor not only held his own against the entire group of superheroes, but was able to fight them all at once, demonstrating his overwhelming physical abilities, fighting skills, and ability to use energy. Without the combined efforts of his powerful teammates, Thor would have been completely defeated by his grandfather. There is no denying that Bor is one of the ancient entities that possesses the perfect combination of magic, physical strength, and strategic fighting ability. His battles were not simply clashes of power, but collisions between divine eras. In Asgard's history, few warriors could make Thor and the entire Avengers struggle like that. And that clearly depicts the special place and extraordinary stature of Bor in Marvel mythology. Bor, the ancient god, is the lord of Asgard and has faced the most powerful and dangerous enemies since the beginning of the universe. In the time of chaos, before the birth of Odin, Asgard was threatened by prehistoric forces of a brutal and destructive nature. Ancient beings such as Ymir, the progenitor of the frost giant race, and Surtur, the lord of the fire realm of Muspelheim, were formidable opponents that Bor had to fight. Ymir is the embodiment of primordial cold, an entity born from the chaos of the early world, capable of manipulating ice on a planetary scale, and nearly meanwhile, Surtur carries the fire that burns everything, possessing the Twilight Sword, a weapon that can burn the entire world. Both represent the balance between ice and fire, but at the same time are symbols of destruction. Bor not only fights to protect Asgard from these forces, the battles between him and these creatures of chaos are not just battles, but also affect the evolution and structure of the entire Norse mythological world. Bor's courage and strength have helped him maintain his position as the ruler of Asgard during the darkest times, where only true courage and power can protect what is sacred. These conflicts also demonstrate Bor's position as a symbol of order and light in a world filled with darkness and chaos. Without his presence in that era, Asgard might have been destroyed before Odin had a chance to step in and build the glory that would follow. And it can be affirmed that Bor was not only the one who laid the foundation for Asgard, but also the one who kept the survival of the entire god world in the dangerous early days. And now let's move on to Uranos. Guys, please subscribe to the channel and like it. It will help us a lot and be great. Every day, you are the best. Thank you very much. Uranos is one of the three patriarchs, the greatest Eternals of Earth, who originally ruled over them, each with their own dynasty. Uranos is one of the first members of the Eternals race and is also one of the most powerful and fearsome entities in Marvel history. With superior strength, Uranos possesses the typical abilities of the Eternals, such as super strength, super speed, the ability to fly freely, immortality, and the ability to release energy with terrible destructive power. However, what makes Uranos more special than other Eternals is his brutal fighting style, extreme personality, and ideology to destroy any threat that he deems unworthy of existence. Not only is Uranos physically strong, he also has a superior intellect, formidable strategic thinking ability, and is almost never defeated in any conflict. He can destroy deviants, a species that often confronts the Eternals, with the same ease that a human would crush an ant. In the past, Uranos led an extremist faction of Eternals, promoting bloody purges with the goal of purifying the universe of races deemed impure. Because of his brutality, he was exiled by his own kind. However, that exile did not weaken Uranos. On the contrary, during his isolated existence, he absorbed more cosmic energy from the Celestials, the ultimate power entities, making his power almost invincible. Currently, Uranos is considered a cosmic threat, an entity that even the Eternals must fear, and no one dares to take lightly if he once again enters the game of the gods. Uranos possesses a psychic defense that has reached an extremely formidable level. His psychic powers are so great that very few entities in the universe can penetrate or influence his mind. This makes Uranos virtually invulnerable. a huge advantage in any confrontation. When he arrived on Arakko, a planet considered a bastion of Omega-level mutants, the situation immediately became dire. It is important to understand that Arakko is home to the most powerful mutants, entities that represent the pinnacle of mutant power. Here, Uranos demonstrated not only pure destructive power, but also control of an extremely advanced combat system or technology. Iska, a mutant who has the ability to never lose, even if it means changing sides, could do nothing to stop him. Uranos quickly demonstrated his overwhelming ability as he took down Arakko's top individuals, including prominent mutants such as Locos, Magneto, Cable, and Abigail Brand. In less than 20 minutes, he defeated many key figures, terrifyingly recreating the image of Madaro overwhelming the 5 Kagage in. Uranos continued to conduct a sweeping campaign across the entire Mars, where Arakko was currently located, in just 1 hour. The scale and speed of his attacks almost wiped out the entire mutant ecosystem here. He claimed that he had the power to match Legion, a mutant with multiple personalities who could destroy the entire universe with just a thought. Furthermore, Uranos also asserted that if he were left to his own devices, he could completely destroy the entire force of Genesis, the most powerful force at that time. Uranos was not just a warrior, he was a symbol of organized destruction, an entity with a strategy, clear goals, and no hesitation in action. Many called him a cosmic gangster, not just because of his arrogant attitude, but because he truly acted like a ruthless, cold-blooded ruler who always had the upper hand in every situation. Uranos was such a dangerous entity that his very existence became a threat to the entire planet. Earth, the Eternals were forced to take a strict control measure as Uranos had installed an extremely devastating safety mechanism. If he was killed or his mind was wiped, the result would be the complete destruction of Earth. This was not only a defensive barrier, but also a sophisticated form of deterrence, forcing even the most powerful and determined entities to think carefully before acting against him. Therefore, Uranos was not destroyed, but was imprisoned in a special prison designed specifically for him. However, the situation became serious when Druig, a member of the Eternals with a thirst for power and a cold vision, took command. During the campaign to attack Krakoa, the home of the mutants, Druig made the dangerous decision to temporarily release Uranos for an hour so that he could attack Arakko, Krakoa's sister nation located on the planet Mars. Once free, Uranos wasted no time. He immediately deployed war machines with cutting-edge destructive technology to the surface of the Red Planet. These machines quickly wreak havoc, while Uranos himself went head-to-head with the most powerful forces on Arakko, including the Legion of multi-personality mutants who could shape reality at will, and the Great Ring of Arakko, a council of Omega warriors of the highest order. Although the attack was swift and devastating, Uranos made a crucial strategic mistake. He did not thoroughly verify the results of the battle. He believed that he had completely destroyed Arakko's leadership, but in fact, most of the Great Ring's members survived, including Magneto, who was so badly wounded that his heart was ripped out, but continued to survive thanks to his extraordinary will and unique mutant biology. However, his threat is not over yet, and just another moment of inattention could see an entire world fall into ruin. Even though he is confined in a space prison with strict security measures, Uranos still shows his potential danger when he decides to destroy the Earth as an act of revenge or a show of power. This decision is not a spontaneous act, but the cold and calculating personality of an entity that no longer cares about the survival of anyone, including his own kind or entire planet. In that urgent situation, Iron Man intervened. He traveled to Arakko with Magneto and Storm, two of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel Universe, to confront Uranos directly. As the battle raged, Storm and Magneto joined forces, unleashing attacks of almost catastrophic proportions. Meanwhile, Iron Man used his technological prowess to hack into the control systems of Uranos' war machines. With a carefully calculated plan, he successfully hacked the control network and reprogrammed Uranos' entire mechanical army, causing them to turn on their master. This unexpected counterattack turned the tide of Ultimately, Uranos was defeated, but killing him outright was not an option. The reason was that if he died, the biosecurity system he had set up would automatically trigger the destruction of the Earth. In other words, Uranos' death would mean the collapse of the entire planet. Uranos has long been considered one of the most dangerous and divisive entities within the Eternals. He has made many enemies even within his own race. The more progressive Eternals, notably Zurus and Icarus, have both risen up against him. They have also viewed Uranos' actions as a direct threat to the survival of the Eternals and all life in the universe. Zurus, who once served as the Eternals' supreme leader, represents a more moderate ideology, emphasizing balance and order over destruction. Meanwhile, Icarus, a legendary warrior of great loyalty and duty, believes that power should be used to protect, not destroy. Both have faced Uranos head-on on multiple occasions in an attempt to stop his haunting plans for cleansing. Uranos has also made enemies of the very species he claims must be eliminated. The Deviants are a prime example. They are an alien race that has had a complicated and tense relationship with the Eternals throughout history. Uranos sees the Deviants as a symbol of deviation, a mistake that must be erased from the universe. This extreme attitude has made him a sworn enemy of the entire Deviant community and has also led to many large-scale conflicts in the past. Because of this extreme ideal, regardless of the consequences in the lives of billions of people, those who oppose him, regardless of where they come from, are forced to stand on the side of life and fight to prevent a future in which Uranos will be engulfed in destruction. In ancient times, when Asgard was not yet fully formed, consolidating its power, the universe was engulfed in fierce conflicts between ancient cosmic entities, and internal conflicts caused many ambitious individuals like Uranos to take advantage of the situation to pursue their own path. After being exiled from the Eternal Kingdom due to his extremist ideology and brutal actions, Uranos not only did not give up his desire for power, but also actively sought to expand his influence throughout the dimensions. In the process of scouting the newly emerging powers, Uranos soon realized that Asgard was a potential threat to his future domination. At that time, Asgard was being built by Bor, a mighty warrior god and father of Odin. Bor not only had superior strength, but also possessed a vision and iron will to protect his territory. He clearly saw the invasion plot from Uranos and was determined not to allow any foreign power to interfere with the development of Asgard. In an effort, Uranos sent a vanguard force to advance to Asgard's territory. However, Bor's response was not lenient. With his divine power and determination to protect his roots, Bor quickly destroyed the entire vanguard force of Uranos. This action was not only a declaration of territorial sovereignty, but also an affirmation that Asgard would not succumb to any expansionist plots from outside. This sparked a deep hatred between Uranos and Asgard. Before the humiliating defeat, Uranos uttered a proud and threatening declaration: "I will uproot your world tree. The Eternal will then rule all dimensions," where the ambition of an outcast collides head-on with the protective will of a divine civilization. Though the outcome of the first encounter was clearly Asgardian, Uranos' ambition still smoldered, like a flame that would never be extinguished. Bor, with his divine power tied to the origins of the universe, summoned the primordial energies, where the essence of all things was still in chaos. His attacks were not mere lightning, but the embodiment of primal fury, capable of distorting the fabric of matter and incinerating everything within its reach. The energy he unleashed was like a cosmic storm, carrying life and death intertwined. In the face of such fury, Uranos responded with technological weapons derived from the Celestials, the cosmic creators. He not only used nuclear and multi-dimensional firepower, but also combined it with the ability to manipulate energy fields and direct weapons with absolute precision. Under his command, the weapons systems acted as living entities, instantly responding to every move of the opponent with sharp, cold, and emotionless counterattacks. The ground where they fought became devastated. Space was torn apart by the pressure of opposing energies, while time in that area became unstable, twisted, and disordered as if the laws of physics were being distorted. Uranos relied not only on firepower, but also on a sophisticated strategy. He created an artificial reality field around the battlefield, weakening and destabilizing Bor's magic. His goal was to deflect the energy layers that Bor used, destroying his opponent's core power from within. However, Bor was not easily defeated. He retreated only to summon an ancient magic from an era when Asgard had yet to be named. Bor transformed himself into the physical embodiment of war, absorbing the essence of every battle he had ever fought. The magic not only transformed him physically, but also demanded a terrible price. He accepted to sacrifice a part of his soul, severing his ties to eternal peace, to be able to maintain a state of fighting beyond his limits. In the moment when victory seemed within his grasp, Uranos delivered the finishing blow with a beam of energy composed of dark matter aimed directly at the most vulnerable part of Bor's body. The blow pierced the chest of the Asgardian god, seemingly ending the life of one of the most powerful beings to ever exist in the universe. However, in the moment of death, Bor managed to summon ancient magic, an esoteric ritual passed down only through the oldest memories of the warrior gods. He chanted an ancient spell that only those who had access to the primordial essence of the universe could understand and control. Under the influence of this magic, his blood did not flow red, but turned into life energy in the form of lightning, a power that did not belong to any known physical element. That lightning exploded with terrible intensity, creating a hole in the fabric of space, tearing the dimension of reality apart, and opening up a space-time reversal where all physical laws worked against each other. The explosion not only caused widespread destruction on the battlefield, but also pulled Uranos into a region of space known as the Mirror Realms, a place that mirrors the universe but follows no order. Here, time can flow backwards, thoughts can be separated from actions, and the self can be infinitely fragmented. Uranos did not die, but was trapped in a chaotic dimension where there was no way out. His inability to escape from this area meant that his terrible power was completely neutralized, at least for the time when no one could break the seal of that space. Bor also paid a heavy price. His body was severely injured, almost exhausted, and the part of his soul that was tied to ancient magic could not be completely restored. He lost a part of his being and could never return to his previous state of integrity. However, that sacrifice was not in vain. He saved Asgard from a catastrophe, and with his own strength and determination, Bor solidified the title of Untouchable God in legend. And the victory belongs to Bor. I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's today's video.